Hi, and welcome to Amy Joy Presents. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. Here's our interview with Dr. Jon Morey. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Amy Joy Presents. Shadows are horrendous, so I'm not going to keep this on me, but we're here today with Dr. Jon Morey, and we're going to let him tell you more about that. Oh, sorry about my hand going up like that, but hey, it is what it is. All right, turn it around. Hello, Dr. Morey. All right, you are on. So, basically, I want to just discuss, tell everybody what you do. Who are you?
So I'm a chiropractic physician here in Flint, Michigan. My clinic is on Miller Road. I teach anatomy courses at local university, cadaver lab type stuff. And then I run a business called Uncivilized Vitality, which is a health and wellness advice business. So
Awesome. And Great Lakes Chiropractic and Movement
Great Lakes
Center.
Chiropractic and Movement Center.
Awesome. So so this place is awesome, and I've known you for I don't know how many years.
Going on like six.
Something like that.
6
Yeah.
years,
As long as we've known. I've known Virginia probably.
6,
so 6. Yeah. So awesome. And I know what you do here. I mean, all shapes and sizes and movement levels, and really so. Tell me a little bit today about what you did today about sort of this new venture you're going into.
So we have a new, I should probably grab one before I sat down. Can I move?
Yeah.
That would have been a good idea. So we're bringing a new service to the clinic. One I've been interested in for a long time. Patrick Ranville and I. Patrick's the nutritionist, full-time nutritionist here at the office. We have a lot of patients, and sometimes we try to make sure every patient has a tailored and individual health care and health supporting wellness plan. Patrick handles that, but we've talked a lot about IV therapy. So a lot of supplementation metabolizes differently when you take it by mouth, and it doesn't have the effects that it's purported to have. There's a lot of marketing hype in supplementation that's just not accurate. So I've always thought if you wanted vitamins, minerals, just directly into the vein, B12 shots, just, right in the muscle. It's just hard to get your mainstream doctors to do that for the patients. I suspect it's because it makes them healthy and they don't come in as often, but that's just,
Right.
That's just cynicism on my part. But anyway, there's a local business going in here in Grand Blanc, Michigan called Hydration Plus. And they have several different IV supplied cocktails. They have one, they have the Myers cocktail. It says this powerhouse is packed full of magnesium, chloride, B complex vitamins, hydroxycobalamin, calcium gluconate, and ascorbic acid helps restore balance. And they have immunity support. They have a rehydration. They have a recovery and performance support. They have one called Brainstorm with looks like L-taurine and alpha lipoic acid. It helps with memory, brain function, and learning. And they do a lot of intramuscular shots as well, B12, a vitamin D3, which is important in Michigan, with the winter coming up. Anyway, long-winded. I've been really interested in this therapy for a while. And a friend of mine, Lexi Manti, and her mother, Valerie, have just opened this up. Actually, they're in their soft opening phase, but they're in Grand Blanc, and we're going to do where they come to the clinic a couple times a month to provide that service for the patients right here. I'm super excited.
That is awesome. So does that mean that the 12 gummy vitamins I eat every day?
We were just talking about that. People pop the Flintstone vitamin, think they're
good. They're candy for me.
Little sugar shot.
Something sweet,
I'd like to say something's better than nothing, but yeah, it's just marketing.
Yeah, and then that's I know for a long time I was so low on ferritin. I got ferritin infusions, but it's been so long since I've had any kind of blood work done. I need to come see you soon.
Yeah, we'll look, and that's I'm hoping we can correlate. Like when I send patients out for lab analyses, we draw blood, and Patrick and I look it over to make recommendations instead of just giving supplements for no reason.
Right.
With this hydration therapy, now we've got another tool in our toolbox. So if they're really low on vitamin D, instead of taking a month to kind of bring that back up to normal levels, we can send them over and get an infusion, some IV therapy, and then catch them up real fast. So
that's
I'm
awesome.
pretty excited about it.
Now, so for that, because for people like me who've had a gastric bypass and don't absorb like I'm assuming this would be a really good
Yeah, that's another way
option.
around that.
Yeah. Okay.
And Morgan, the nurse that took care of me today, put the line in. Barely felt it go in. Those of you that are scared of needles, they use like a 25 gauge. It's basically a metal hair. You barely feel it.
Okay.
I don't mind needles. Some people don't like needles, but just zipped it in the back of my hand. We could put it in the elbow, crook of the elbow as well, but didn't go in there today for some reason. I think we hit a valve in my vein. We had to back out.
Okay.
She did a great job with it. It was painless. Took about 45 minutes.
Okay.
We just sat around and chatted. The facility is super nice, real clean. Yeah, I'm excited to promote that.
Yeah. So do you feel any different, like immediate effects, or does it take a while, or does it not really?
It would depend on the IV cocktail you got.
Okay.
I think there's another. I'd hate to keep.
They have one with
cocktails.
tequila.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got the. I did the Get Up and Go.
Oh, sweet.
So feel energized. This unique blend of amino acids and B complex vitamins is intended to help burn fat and boost metabolism. So I had skipped any morning caffeine, or any later morning caffeine. I had some this morning, and I didn't drink or eat anything. Went over fasted to see if there'd be any ill effects. I like to try things before I recommend it to my patients.
Yeah.
But no, I didn't feel bad at all. No nausea, no headaches, no cold feeling. That doesn't happen every once. Sometimes when people get IVs, they get kind of chilled.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe a sweater or a blanket would be good to bring.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel kind of energized, but
Yeah.
I'm always kind of going around.
I was going to say
so,
that's
yeah,
not really new for you.
I'm gonna try a bunch of them. So
Okay.
I'm pretty excited about it.
Awesome. Well, keep tabs on that because that's really interesting. So another part of sort of you and I team up together, and we've got a really cool sort of hybrid event October 8th. So, and I've been talking about it on YouTube and Facebook and
I got some
everywhere I can. Yay!
One of our cool flyers.
Yes. So, so the first half is the human trafficking identification response. And then you teach people actually how to physically, sort of de-escalate situations and defend themselves if it comes to that. But really, it's a really cool afternoon of just a little bit of combat training, it feels like.
Yeah, so. You could go all day, yeah. So part of my background, so for over 30 years, I've practiced and taught martial arts. And I used to run a series of martial arts schools before I went back to graduate school and opened the clinic about 25 years ago. And when I was teaching those, I got a real good insight into how martial arts is misused. Like they tell women, especially, put your keys between your fingers or get some pepper spray or, other nonsense. Martial arts is really a collection of strategies and tactics for managing violent conflicts. And human trafficking, as we learned in the class, which I was surprised to learn the first time, that jump out of the bushes Hollywood kidnapping type of human trafficking is actually a very small percentage.
Right.
It's a lot of others. You guys will have to come to the class and learn.
Yep.
But when we do have that occur, it's good to have a strategy and a set of tactics you can employ to protect yourself in the rare occasion that would occur. So after you do the presentation, then we go over and we talk about awareness, de-escalation skills, how to spot predatory behavior, which is obviously the human trafficker's MO. And then we do, kind of take the edge off. We do a little physical activity where I simulate some attacks and different situations where they get into so they can do that in a safe environment. Yeah. And it's fun.
And it's a lot of fun. Yeah. It's a really fun day. And I was watching today too, like not for some reason, there's obvious reasons, but the rate of carjacking, right, has gone through the roof.
I'm just talking
across the country. And I'm like, okay, so some of those tactics would be really important, and some of just the preventative stuff when it comes to that kind of, it just really surprised me.
We have some vehicular defensive tactics subject matter that I haven't pulled out in probably 20 years, but we were just talking about that, the wife and I, this morning.
Yeah.
About how that's up. It's over 400% in some areas. As what it was. The good and bad of that is that the vehicle, that shouldn't occur because the vehicle is a 2,000-pound self-defense weapon. But it really does require more paying attention. If people get in these little bubbles in their car and you don't pay attention, the next thing you know, someone's pulling your door open and you're being robbed or worse.
Right.
So I think we're going to address that in this upcoming workshop.
Mm-hmm. I think that would be a good idea. And I have typically been very vigilant over the last, 10, 12 years, especially in my car, so the first thing I do when I get in my car is not start it, but lock it, so I don't care where I'm at, get in, lock, then start the car. But yeah, so and I think, you and I teaming up on these workshops it's taught me a lot. I don't participate a whole lot in the physical stuff, but I do see it. But it's awesome. It's awesome to watch you do, and it's awesome to watch other people really, there's a boost of confidence you can see, when they sort of learn these, tactics. So
yeah, and even just with the minor bit of exposure we give them, one of the reasons that physical violence is so scary. I mean, it should be, it is what it is, but it's so alien to most people nowadays. Even, I mean, nowadays we even, harsh word is considered to be violent. That's not violence. Getting punched in the face is violence.
Right.
Someone calling me a doo-doo head or whatever.
Right.
I won't go too far down that trail. But that violence they're not associated with. So even a little bit of exposure helps kind of inoculate the stress that occurs if something like that did happen. Or at least in the back of your mind, like, well, you know what? I did that thing with Amy and Morey, and at least I know, a couple things I could look for or do.
Yeah.
And then anybody that's interested in more in-depth training, I don't do group lessons anymore. Occasionally I'll do some private lessons one-on-one, but I have relations with a very good jiu-jitsu school close to here.
Okay.
They used to work out of the clinic, and then they kind of expanded so big they got their own place. But they're real good with hands-on training and stuff, and I recommend a lot of people in their direction. So
that's awesome.
But we'll have a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's going to be a really awesome event. So October 8th from 9 to 3. Bring your own lunch, or you can hit the fast food around here. But
that's coming fast. It's like 8, 9 Saturdays.
No, it's kind of insane. Not even that, I don't think. 5, 6, somewhere on there. I don't know. We're almost in September.
I have to keep reading that.
It's kind of insane. I'm like, okay, the year's almost over again. What?
Yeah, Labor Day is 10 days, right?
Yes. Yeah, it's insane. So the last couple of weeks I've done interviews with a couple of female coaches and friends of mine. And we were talking about what it means to be an entrepreneur and maintain sanity, basically, right? So like what does that mental, emotional, and physical health look like? What should it look like? And I figure you're kind of the perfect guy to help us understand what that is. What does it look like for you? What should it look like for the rest of us, especially those who run their own businesses and have families? For me, I just have cats now, so it's fine. But so
that's actually, I'll put my 2 cents in on that. So being an entrepreneur or a small business owner, or even having like what the kids call it, a side hustle or whatever now, some passive income, there's both good and bad. It's a double-edged sword. So one, there's a lot of stress. It's much more stressful in certain ways than just going to work for someone. You clock in, you clock out, you leave all the troubles at home. So there's definitely more stress like that. But on the flip side, as a small business owner, I don't have the stress of setting aside 10 special days a year that I get to take off and try to recover all at once. If my wife and I want to take a long weekend, I can look a couple weeks out, see where my schedule is light, block that time out.
Yeah.
Of course, if I'm sick, no one comes to work, so there's that stress.
Right.
But what I do, being so busy, instead of setting aside time to go to a gym, I work out during the day by just little movement snacks or incorporating little bits of movement in my day. And then the UV, the Uncivilized Vitality Health and Wellness program I developed is in part for that sort of situation. There's advice for your movement or fitness, nourishment, restoration, hygiene, which is kind of like self-care, and then community, how to interact with other human beings in a healthy, wellness supporting way. So you just have to be proactive as a small business owner. You think you just keep grinding, and eventually there'll be time when like, okay, now I did all the work and I can reap all the rewards. And that's not how that works at all.
Right.
And even when I'm not here in the clinic with patients, if I'm not working at my other job teaching, there's the maintenance and all the behind the scenes stuff in business. We gotta order things and keep up on stock, and then payroll and keeping track of taxes and expenditures. And fortunately, my wife is much better at that sort of thing than I am. So,
well, that's good.
She does that,
and I think that's important. I know the last couple of weeks we've all been single women, so we don't have really any support at home. So it becomes that has sort of been a running thing. It becomes difficult there because it's on us all the time. There's no one to bounce things off of. My cats are great listeners, but they don't give me advice.
Other business owners, support groups like that are good, because I do have the benefit of my wife. My wife and I do this together. So there's things she's better at, things I'm better at, but work on it together. That does make it easier. For situations like that, a single entrepreneur, forming small social groups. So one of the things I was leading up to is taking time for yourself is probably the most important.
Yeah.
But you can take time for yourself and blend that with meeting with other small business owners for support and bouncing ideas. I know you've been down there at the Community Referral Networkers group I belong to. That is a group of local Genesee County business owners. We meet every Friday at the Cornerstone Baptist Church here in Swartz Creek, Miller Road. And we support each other's business. We learn about each other's business, so that, for instance, when a patient's in here says, "Oh, my furnace died," I say, "Oh, call Eric Farragon, Farragon heating, HVAC, heating, cooling. He knows this stuff." And then I know him personally. I can vouch for him. And then having that support network can help too. Maybe you guys could do some kind of organize something like that.
Right.
Or, drop in and check out our thing.
Yeah. That was just the other thing. I was like, maybe I'll drop in this week. That's tomorrow, isn't it?
Yeah, tomorrow.
Oh, goodness. Okay.
So the good thing about
actually on Zoom today, it's Friday.
Yeah. So it'll be.
We're recording a day ahead of time. So
yeah.
So this morning. One
of the cool things about what we do there as well is, since I'm plugging that, is unlike other networking groups where you pay a fee to like a BNI or whatever, we pay dues, but it goes in a kitty, and then twice a year we draw names out of 3 members, so 6 people a year, and you get $1,000 to donate to your favorite charity.
Wow. Okay.
Local charity. So we do that. So we're donating $6,000 a year. We're hoping to move up to 3 drawings. Okay. So your dues, besides getting the business support, your dues actually go back into the community. So
nice.
Yeah.
So what is the dues there? You don't mind me asking?
I think it's $300 a year, maybe $330 for some reason. Okay. That did remind me my dues are due, so I got to take a check get the incentive.
Because what I noticed too, because I do belong to, some Chamber of Commerce groups and that kind of thing, it can add up really quickly.
Yeah.
But I do find that because I travel and I meet other speakers and things like this, that we can connect and do like Zoom meetings without having to, necessarily do that.
Yeah,
but,
do it informally. That's a good idea.
Absolutely.
Because you do need the support. Human beings are social animals. Because I'm involved in the outdoors with the uncivilized. The boys and I watch, actually I have to play in the waiting room sometimes, the show on, I don't know where it's at, history, called Alone, where they drop contestants out. I've tried to get on the show for years. They drop you out. You get to take 10 things with you, and they drop you out alone. And the last person to tap out and come out of the woods gets $500,000.
Wow.
And what breaks people more than anything is being alone. It like weighs on their head. In their head, they miss their families. They get so lonesome that they just tap out. The other big thing is they can't find food, because human beings, you can't do the lone wolf thing. That's nonsense. You need other human beings to get by. Yeah. In the woods or in business, you got to have some kind of support network.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. Yeah. So as far as like, because I know you're the health and wellness guru. I always call I said, well, I got to check my movement guy. You're always my movement guy, They're like, what?
I got a guy.
Right. Got a guy for that. So as far as in your own life, I mean, I know I see on Facebook quite a bit that you take these groups out into the woods.
Yeah.
And you're like, I'm like, oh, good luck, have fun.
We'll get you out there eventually. It's so much fun.
I need a mattress for my van, and then like one of those pop-up tents.
We got air mattresses.
Okay.
We meet people where they're at. We'll even set you up with a whole tent.
I just something with a for potty that really
Yeah, sometimes that's
is
eye-opening.
really
We've had people go and they're all into it for about 4 hours, then they realize that they're in the middle of northern Michigan,
right,
and the nearest toilet's like 8 miles away at a gas station.
Right.
Maybe.
Yeah, I remember my days in camp. I think it was 11 or 12, and we had gone out, and we took like 2 days and went away from camp, and then had to really camp. And it was a contest as soon as we got out to our spot in the woods, who could build the spiffy is what they called it.
Oh, yeah.
Or we could dig our own,
Yeah, get you
and, and we thought it was fun at the time until we had to go. It was like, this is not fun.
Yeah, that always comes up. Sometimes people think about it ahead of time, but it's one of those aspects of your life you don't think about.
Mm-hmm.
It's just on autopilot. There's always a bathroom.
Yeah.
Then you get out in the woods. People did it since the beginning of time. So,
right.
But we teach them how to do that. It's actually one of the class we do, like how to, one of the short lessons we do, how to shit in the woods.
Yeah.
So you can bleep that if I'm not supposed to say it, but
no, it's all good.
But yeah, so I've always
Bears do it.
Yeah, because of the Asperger's, I've always, since I was little, I go out to the woods, even before I had that perspective, to kind of recalibrate, take me time and come back. And that's why we got the UV, the ULF, actually, I pulled that out too. The Uncivilized Living Foundation is the charity we just organized. So I think camping is the best thing you can do for a little me time. Now, there are certain populations, maybe with special needs or some handicap situation, where they wouldn't get that opportunity necessarily. So we've set this foundation up to enable those groups to go. Basically,
awesome.
We'll find groups, say, we'll pay for the whole thing. We just want to take you camping. And then, as I admit, the only ulterior motive is then I get to go camping.
Right.
So we camping.
I'm sure that breaks your heart. Yeah.
But my hope is by 55, I'll be camping professionally. So
right. Oh my goodness.
We go once a month now, at least.
Yeah.
We have an event, different themes. Like we do winter hiking, winter camping, shelter building, small game hunting. We did the rattlesnake hunt in Pennsylvania.
Yeah,
you saw the
crazy.
The snake? Oh, it was awesome.
Yeah. No, that's not my.
We've got a men's only camp, calling it. We're back and forth between meat camp and man camp, and neither one really hits the ear right.
Yeah.
But just guys, we're gonna go out and do some masculine positivity weekend. And then to balance that, we've got still in the planning stages the women's winter wonderland something. We can't come up with a good alliterative end to that, but that'll be in February.
Okay.
So we're trying to get just be all women.
Okay.
Go out, build some quincies or some igloos, and just spend a couple nights out in the single digits, and lots of other activities in there. But we got that planned. Manitou Island hike is next month. We've got a gear swap, which is a sort of how to pack for the outdoors to do it safely and enjoyably. What gear you need, what you don't need. That's on September 10th, on Saturday, September 10th, from 10 to 4.
Now, every time I see that on with all the gear laid out and all that stuff, I think of the movie, the book Wild.
Yeah,
just packing all the gear in, and
most of that stuff you don't need.
Goodness, yeah.
People take way too much stuff outside.
See, and that would be me. I'd be like, pack the tablet in there, and I need like $4.
I always have a book, and I never get to it because it's just so much to do. And then when you're out in the woods, living in the moment, you get that disconnection, because it's like a moving meditation all day, because there's firewood to gather. Then I got to set up my shelter for later tonight. Then I've got to dig the latrine. Then I've got to cook, then eat, then clean it up, and boil water. And then, now it's dark. So you stare at the fire, you share some stories and laughs, and then you lay down and you get the best sleep you ever had.
Oh, that sounds awesome. Wow.
It's great. We'll get you out there eventually. We're going to ease people into it.
No, that sounds amazing. And that was one of the running themes that we've had so far, is that when it comes to sort of this wellness thing, that nature has always been seems to be a huge part of it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, one of my friends we interviewed, she lives right by the lake. She just walks to the lake, and I've got this other friend who decided to sell everything and move to the ocean in Mexico,
Oh, yeah.
So it was just kind of like, oh my gosh, I haven't even sat outside since May, And I'm like,
Well, the whole theme of
man.
civilization was a terrible, terrible adaptation of what I call a hyperculture. I am working on a book. Been working on it for a
Yay.
while, but how it goes.
Yeah.
You sit down, you get a few things out, but I'm trying to explain that civilization has been. Oh, we're close. We'll let it go to voicemail. Civilization has been bad for us, and that is our theme. We say secundum naturam movere sunum bonum est. So living according to nature is best. That comes from the Stoics originally.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean go live in a cave or a tree. It just means sleep when you're tired, eat when you're hungry, socialize in a healthy way, take me time. Don't over sanitize or over clean, but don't live like a dirt hermit either.
Right. Yeah. Some balance in there. I mean,
Yeah.
And
but you got to get out in the woods. That's part of it. So you can do that all. Like you can. What's that analogy? You can learn all the swimming techniques you want, but until you get in the water, you're not swimming. So you can do it, but we got to get you out the woods.
Right.
Even for a couple hours.
Eventually. Yeah, for sure. I feel like every time I venture out a little bit, I either get bees stuck up my pants or, there's, it's just kind of like nature. I love nature. I really do. And I love going barefoot and walking in grass, mowed grass.
That's nature's lesson though, is balance.
Yeah.
Some days you're the hammer, some days you're the nail.
Yeah.
That's also one of our guiding principles, because sometimes we get up there and it's buggy and it rains, or the food, we forgot the food one time. Everything has come up. You get up there, your sleeping bag rips or your tarp leaks. But it teaches you to be durable, right?
Yeah.
And then be adaptable, figure out ways around that. And the more you go, the more you know. I almost rhymed. The more you go, the more you know. The more you know, the less you bring with you, so you can be more comfortable.
Gotcha.
Unfortunately, people watch those survivor shows. This stuff's nonsense.
Right.
Survival, I say this all the time. Survival is easy. You just curl up around a tree and don't die until someone finds you. Congratulations, now you're a survivalist. Right. But this pocket fishing kit and these big knives and all this nonsense. Now, an emergency in the woods is different, but you should be kind of prepared. So we train people for that.
Now, it's sort of, like when you said you sort of curl up around a tree and just wait for someone to rescue you. That's exactly what we've been doing as a society for the last 2 years.
Yeah. Just kind of in that mode. No one's coming.
Oh my Lord, no one's coming. Which is why we need to be part of your program, because when the shit hits the fan, we're going to come find you.
Already
right. Like, leave me a map.
Yeah. You got to take that responsibility for your own health and wellness, especially if you're a small business owner.
Right.
Without that safety net of like an insurance policy from the corporation or whatever, you got to be more proactive.
And now, didn't that teach us something when this all went down, the whole lockdowns, and without a safety plan in place, we all got screwed.
Yeah,
it just really hit hard.
The repercussions from the financial, the economic, political, societal, all those repercussions for the lockdown have not even begun to show up yet. People have studied any kind of history or cultural science. You see, it's going to be a lot of downstream effects that we don't see yet. So
right.
Yeah, I'm excited to read a history book in about 50 years.
Oh my word. Yeah. I was watching something today, and they were just going around asking young people basic questions about the US, and it was just like, are you kidding me? Like, I'm really sad.
Name the 46th president. And they're like, Lincoln?
Right.
Or I saw one the other day, name 3 countries that aren't the US. She was like London, Asia, and she couldn't get the third one. And I was dying because these aren't setups. They're
right. And it was funny. The one I saw today, every time they answered him wrong, he was like, yes. Because, how do you combat that kind of ignorance?
He's funny.
Honestly. But yeah, it was just crazy.
But health and wellness, that's what's happened now is people have stopped thinking common sense or learning. They've sort of outsourced it.
Yeah.
2 generations ago in the 70s and 80s, you got sick. Your grandmother knew something new. You didn't go to the doctor that often because your parent or grandparent or somebody had some manner of treating that or dealing with it. So you save the hospitals and the healthcare systems for the really big things. It's emergent care. If I get hit by a bus, take me to the hospital.
Right.
Don't put dandelion salve on my leg or something. I'm making fun of dandelion salve. I'm just saying. I don't even know if that's a thing.
I don't know either. I know you can eat them, but I don't do that.
Well, that's what I tell my patients. I'm a conservative care physician. You come to me, I give you advice, help you get healthy. You get hit by a bus or bitten by a shark, except for some combat medic stuff real quick. I'm not your guy.
Right.
You need a colon resection. I could have helped you before that, but I'm not.
Right.
I'm not.
Oh my gosh. Well, that's what was so funny because I've struggled with movement and health and wellness, for a really long time.
We've had fun moving here.
Oh my gosh, we really have. And it's been a while since I've actually been into, to do any of this stuff.
Well,
it's been
new business.
Crazy. A bunch of, so like I'm ghostwriting now. I'm ghostwriting a book, So
that's what I was saying. I knew you were writing. It's tough to find time.
Yeah. The next, oh my gosh.
The real estate thing.
The real estate thing.
But when you were here, we got to get you back in
it
just was fun too. I think you were surprised sometimes on they would have had you walk across the balance beam and pick up poker chips along the way.
Yeah.
Being surprised that you could do that.
Yeah.
Or climb up on those boxes.
Yeah, those are tough. I feel like I've lost quite a bit of muscle since
It'll come back quick. It's all in there.
But I have started, I know, I've started the whole clean eating thing, and I know I promised people updates on this as well. But and I think when I started coming to see you, even that was I talked to Patrick, the nutrition guy, and he had said that to me. He's basically the lean proteins and the get rid of all the grains is actually what he said to me. He's like, just all of the grains, like all of them,
grains,
the corn and the wheat and all of them, and that's what I've done. Problem is my weight isn't budging at all. I'm feeling a little better, but it's just, it's one of those things, but I think it's a stress, maybe a hormone.
Yes, almost entirely hormones. Weight loss is a matter of hormone balance, not necessarily energy expenditure or storage. And because of the culture we live in, any lean 22-year-old with an Instagram can get on there and be a nutrition expert. It's ridiculous. You're lean and full of energy because you're 24.
Right.
Not because you've discovered the secret little known fact that for only $19.95 you'll share with everybody.
Right.
It's not hard. And it's not exercise more. It's harder sometimes when you're stressed, and there are male and female differences in hormonal weight storage and loss. Men are more forgiving of fasting stress, for instance.
Okay.
I'll explain that in detail in some other places, but nature doesn't let go of stored energy in women as easily as it will in a male, because males are somewhat expendable in nature as far as producing new generations. If you have a village with 9 women and you can keep Bobo the sperm donor tied up in the shed, you're good. You can have another generation.
Right.
You can bleep that. And
I won't.
If you have a village with 9 men, 1 woman, or 1 woman, that's not how it works.
Right.
Yeah. So women are more like a more precious commodity in nature as far as propagating the species. And men aren't. So you can starve them, fatten them up, hard labor, different stress levels. Whereas women have to be, it's more of a quality over quantity.
Yeah.
So it can be tough, especially when we're driven to lose. Now, so being lean is healthy. So I don't subscribe to the new healthy at any weight or shape or size.
Right.
I mean, you can be healthy and be overweight. There's no problem with that. But you're not as healthy as if you could be, as if you were at a more idealized weight for your height.
Yeah.
But then again, everybody has different bone structures, and there's a huge gamut in there. And that's a third rail to touch sometimes to talk to people because they get all buttoned up about it.
This body positivity thing has really got me, because I have been a big girl most of my life. There were moments there that I was much smaller, and it honestly, it felt so good.
You don't have to be slender, but
and just the ability to get up and not have to worry, about, oh my gosh, this is what people are looking at. And maybe that's a vanity thing or,
No, I mean, we're visual
Yeah.
creatures, but
yeah.
my general rule of thumb is you find an idealized weight, which is you could use the BMI as long as you take in waist to hip ratio or like waist circumference in the calculation. And then take genetics in. We say big bone, but if you have a larger skeleton and proportions genetically, but you find an ideal weight to height ratio and then stay within 10 to 20% of that.
Yeah.
And then you'd find a lot of people, oh, well, that's not bad. So I'm overweight for appearance, but I'm healthy.
Right.
But then you have these people on the covers of magazines that are 500 pounds, and they're like, well, healthy at any weight. And I'm like, well, that's not true.
Right.
Rarely. I mean, maybe if you take 500 or 5,000 morbidly obese people, 2 of them could be, or 5, I don't know, super healthy, but the vast majority aren't.
Right.
And I don't know why that's being foisted off on our culture, unless somebody's making a ton of money somehow.
Oh, I'm sure they are, because I mean, as a society, we're getting bigger and bigger as the days go on. And
standard American diet.
Exactly. And we were talking about that the other day, the because of the economy too, we're all going to be switching up to the Biden diet pretty soon here, and the rice-a-roni and pasta every day, because it's all we could afford. I mean, truly, I live alone, and my grocery bill has tripled easily. So
we don't know what to eat anymore, because the grocery stores only offer every now, like those videos we talked about earlier, every now and then you hear some airhead say, well, I'm against hunting or something, maybe on ethical grounds, you don't want to kill the animal, but they say, just go to the grocery store, get your meat there. It's like such a disconnect from reality. Where do you think that somebody killed that cow?
Right.
And in order to live, every living thing kills something else to stay alive. That's how nature moves forward. Even if you're a super strict vegan, you're ripping little baby carrots out of the ground at some point.
Right.
Who's that said that if carrots could scream, vegetarians would be a little harder put on? I'm not picking on vegetarians, but
that's fine. But the visual of it,
you can be healthy being a vegetarian. It's just you have to accept the fact that it's not the ideal diet. So you have to take a few extra steps and precautions.
Yeah.
You want to put in the extra effort? Great, but that's not a preferable diet. Neither is eating nothing but like meat and fat like a caveman either. You need roughage, you need fibers. All right, now I got my nutrition so far.
No, that's awesome. I think to sort of bring it back around with the whole, I think out of all the people I know, you are probably the most well balanced when it comes to, maintaining your emotional, mental, and physical health. You know what I mean? So
maybe. I mean, the Asperger's autistic portion might give a false impression. Plus, we typically only talk about what I want to talk about anyway, so it makes it easier for me to be more gregarious and we'll talk about the body and health and wellness.
So, what are some things then?
But I don't want that to fool people.
Are you? Would you say you were out of balance a little bit in any of those areas when it comes to mental, emotional, or spiritual well-being?
That I feel pretty balanced about, but that is my obsession is health and wellness of like the human, animal, and the body. So but other things like financially, my wife handles all that.
Yeah.
Because she'll be the first to tell you, I'm terrible. I can't be left alone unsupervised with the checkbook or the card. So I'm going right to the bookstore and buy a bunch of books on like anatomy or whatever I want to read that day.
Yep.
Or like our Amazon, I try to sneak a book into the account, like what I have to order. She wants to order coffee filters. I might have slipped a book in the order. These special like natural coffee filters she gets. We get them on Amazon because they used to carry them around here, but they don't anymore. Anyway, I threw a book in the cart. But so like financially, I'm not a balanced person like that. I don't want to give a false impression. But if you want to talk about how to get healthy, health and wellness, how to stay healthy, then I can help you out. Yeah.
No, it's good that you have her, because I go on these sort of manic sprees, and there's no one to catch it. So I'm like, damn, that credit card is maxed. So
I think more people than we realize are in that position. They talk about Americans carrying like average $8,000 in credit card debt.
I can beat that.
Well, that's average. So you figure half the people are up higher. And I think that's lowballing just to make people feel a little better about themselves.
Yeah.
Because you can really go.
Yeah.
We went to the amusement park a couple weeks ago. We took my son and a bunch of his friends. We promised him for summer we'd go. My wife and I drove them up there. And I went to the bank and I took out some money. So we had 5 boys. I'm like, okay, so ice cream and lunch and tickets.
Mm-hmm.
So I was all set. And then when it's gone, it's gone. So I don't spend money on souvenirs. We got there and it's now a cashless park.
Oh,
It's all even parking. So I had to use the card. But pretty soon it's a card. You're like, oh, look at the pictures that roll out. We'll get some pictures.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we get a keychain for each of the kids. Oh, you guys want to have ice cream?
Wow.
And then I was just put the cash back, right? But somehow it didn't fit back in.
Right.
What came out? It was, they get you like that.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't think it was, I mean, it is private property. They can set it up how they want. You accept their terms coming in, I guess. But boy, I was bitching about it for a while.
Yeah, I would be too. I think that's really ridiculous that some places are doing that. I'm like, well, we need to hang on to our paper money.
I like cash.
So, yeah.
I like, it's not anybody's business what I spend my money on.
Exactly.
You know, but I'm always open to bartering and such. So.
You're right.
We've had people donate some backpacks and sleeping bags to go along on one of our adventures instead of making the donation if they're cash strapped. We work with people.
Right. Awesome.
That gear swap. So if you come on Saturday the 10th, we can outfit you, Amy, with all the camping gear you'd need. And it's cash only or trade. So you can buy, sell, and trade. So it's going to be a day of just swapping gear. Yeah. So something that they donate to the charity. We need camping gear. We need funds, really. But hopefully we get our fund drive going.
And that's September 10th?
September 10th, Saturday.
Okay.
From 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. But around 10:30, I'm going to do about an hour of an interactive instructional. Like this is how to pack, depending on what you're doing. We'll show the basic gear, some alternatives. We can go all the way from high-end $400 quilt to a Walmart Ozark Trails $20 sleeping bag and how to make that work.
Okay.
So we can
awesome.
We can help everybody. So
fantastic.
It's gonna be good.
All right, cool beans. So is there anything that we haven't touched on that you want to?
I don't know. We jumped around a lot.
Yeah, we did.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a little schizophrenic, but it's
that's all right. That's good. You can edit most of it down and bleep out all the whatever I said.
I probably won't because I don't know how. It's all good.
Okay.
No, I'm sure. I don't think there's a Bobo sperm donor out there going,
I don't know.
Damn it, he talked about me.
Yeah. You'll see in the comments some guys named Bobo somewhere.
Right. I know a dog named Bobo, but
you violenced him with your words. Now he's offended.
Right. So. Well, somebody's going to be offended by this. I'll guarantee it. But that's okay. It's the truth is better than.
You should spend more energy trying to not be offended than you do trying not to offend others.
Yeah.
I mean, don't be a dick, but try to toughen up a little bit, and then, that'd be better.
Yeah, I really got to a point where I'm like, I can't spend my energy trying to morph into something that people
tiptoe around
expect, or you know what I mean? Because I'm like, some days I'm like, I am not ladylike, or whatever that means,
Yeah, what is that, right?
Like I don't have that.
That has no meaning anymore.
It doesn't, but I'm just like, I am who I am, and either you take it or you leave it. And if you don't,
I'm sure I offend people sometimes because I am somewhat direct. Sometimes it's good, better to have Carrie Ann with me in social situations to maybe do the arm or give a segue. But I guess on the plus side is where you stand. I mean, I'm direct with people, so
nope, I think that's the way to go. All right, cool beans. Well, thank you so much.
Hopefully October 8th.
Yep.
Saturday, October 8th, people come. We're doing it at the clinic here.
Yep.
And we'll do the human trafficking prevention and awareness training.
Yep.
Got to make sure we say that right. You can't say human trafficking training.
Right. People are
you get that joke all the time.
I do it all the time. Yeah. Actually, I do it to myself now because I'm like, I do human trafficking. I'm like,
yeah, you gotta
I don't do it, but
and then I'll contribute a little bit by doing some awareness and strategies
about predators and things.
Yeah, how to spot them. And then it meshes right back in all day with you. So it should be good.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks for doing it. Should be good.
Thanks, everybody. See you on the flip side. Thanks again for tuning in to Amy Joy Presents. We'll see you next time. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. Check out the events coming up October 8th at Great Lakes Chiropractic and Movement Center with Dr. Jon Morey. It's a human trafficking identification and tactical response training. We also have a writing workshop coming up on October 12th in Grand Blanc, Michigan. So this is going to be a really awesome event where we're going to talk about and practice writing, creative writing and memoir, as well as editing and the self-publishing process. So I hope you can join me there. Please send me a message if you'd like to sign up for either of these or catch me on Facebook. Have a great one, everyone. Bye.